Sweetie, unfortunately, we don't get to have our fiddle right in front of our face. It's part of being a violinist. We're supposed to sit around and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, in the string, sweetie. We're at the tip of the bow. 1, 2, ready, go. Please fix that B. It's sharp. So. Arpeggio. Slow sixes. Rest in the string. Ready, go. So the upper octave is pretty wonky in terms of intonation. So let's listen to our very top B at least. 1, 2, go. So, which finger do we need to... Oh, and it was also leaving fingers down, right? We discussed that as well. Which finger needs to stay down on the A string to make sure that we don't even use our first finger for the arpeggio on the A string. Right, because if we keep that down, which is what note?
It's D sharp.
D sharp. If we leave that D sharp down, it helps us find the next note, which is sharp. So go ahead and play D sharp, F sharp a few times. Rest in your string, sweetie. Rest in the string. It's only a minor third away, sweetie. We're reaching way further than we need to. Ready, go. It's still sharp. A little higher. A little higher. Good. Now, of course, from D sharp to B is a what? What's that interval?
It's the fifth. 8.
Well, you know, we can talk about the theory of it. We could count D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, and know that it's a sixth. But just look at your finger pattern. Play D sharp, B, and then play them together as a double stop. They're both sharp. Then it's still sharp. So if your fingers are a half step apart like that across strings, that's a what?
6.
What kind of a sixth?
Major.
Minor. If it was a whole step across the strings, that would be a major sixth, right? So you need to be leaving that second finger down, okay? Now you have a recording of this. Your dad's recording all this right now. So what are your scale's actually doing pretty well. I would say that the arpeggio needs the most work. We need to practice just the A and E string, leaving which finger down?
D sharp.
Right, leaving your second finger down. Then we'll be able to move on to C major. All right, did we do Wolfhard and Whistler on Sunday?
Yes.
Oh, we did. Okay. Have you ever done any of the Bartok duos? We need to get into those pretty soon. Let's do a little vibrato. What's your vibrato exercise right now?
The tapping of the head.
Cool. Let's tap. Let's tap that. Ready? Ready, go. You don't get to use your left hand or your right hand for this. Ready, go. Again. Ready, go. Good, looking very nice. Grab me your vibrato packet. We'll move on to the next exercise. Next exercise is called finger flops. This one you don't need your fiddle for, so you can set it on your violin. Alright, now finger flops, there's a lot of these exercises that all they do, apart from helping you control your fingers, is check the looseness of this first joint. Now, why is the looseness here so important for vibrato?
Because you need to move.
Well, if you watch anybody with a good vibrato, what happens to that first knuckle when you do vibrato?
Oh, you have to move it back and forth.
Well, it's a result of the movement of the hand or of the arm, right? But it has to be so loose, it has to be able to flatten and then rebound like this as we do the motion. So we're going to keep checking in on that first knuckle. So you show me your left hand like this. Good. And these are, are you doing a video recording or a sound recording?
I'm doing now video.
Oh. Well,
So I was like, I didn't want to, because I couldn't see her face, so okay.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, this would be great. And if you want to just set it up somewhere too, where it can just go. I don't know how much time you can put on this, but
I don't know.
and
My phone, I have my phone too, so we'll have to stitch it up together.
you know, a lot of students they'll bring in a snap. What are they called? Like in a little video camera. So it's big.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're pretty cheap too, like a $100
Yeah, yeah,
or something
yeah,
like
yeah,
those.
yeah.
They got those ones.
Yeah,
or,
we're
or-
not. Yeah.
But those can be handy. That way you can see what we're doing. So left hand straight up like this. Now we're going to bend our second finger at the second knuckle like this, and only the second finger. Good. So you see how we're kind of leaning forward a little bit? That means you're moving to the base knuckle. We want that to be nice and flat. Other finger still straight up in the air. And we're kind of cupping our hand a little bit. We want to be nice and flat. Good. And keep your hand like this so you can see what's going on with everybody else. That's why we practice. Don't worry, it's not going to be perfect the first try. And then, once we have it like this, we go flop, flop, flop like this. We check that looseness of the first joint, and then right back up again. Now, third finger. Then we check the looseness in that first joint. Now, the rest of your hand's getting kind of lazy. It's kind of doing this. We're kind of moving from the base knuckle. So, yeah, we want to move just from here. So, from the side, it looks like this. Show that to the camera. Like that. You're doing this, sweetie. Here, look, do this. Can you see it from the side and see what it looks like? Yeah, your other fingers are so late. Sweetie, you got to keep your other fingers like this. If you're letting them do this, then you're out of there. Now, start like this. Start like this. Always start like this. Now, just the third finger. Better. Now, check the looseness. Flop, flop, flop. Then back up again. Now, pinky all by himself. Check the looseness. So if you notice, the hand's starting to do a little bit of this. You should try this too. This is fun.
Yeah, I guess I need for my flute.
moving only from the second knuckle of the finger.
second knuckle?
Like this.
Ooh.
Yeah, you don't feel so bad now, right? It's going to take your old man a lot longer than you even. Now, you're going to find that some fingers work easier than others. Everybody's different. Now, first finger. Yeah, first finger's not too bad. Then we check them out and then back up again. Cool. So how many times do we do these every day?
3.
3, right. Beginning, middle, and end of every practice session. Good. What's your shifting exercise?
It was the plus.
Slide and pluck. Cool. Grab your fiddle. About this fast. Shift. Shift. Ready. But which finger is supposed to be doing the plucking?
The 3rd.
Fourth finger. We're going to have to spend another week on this. And ready, go. In A, shift. D, G. And when we shift, we discussed getting over the high mark, right? Again, start from the beginning. Ready, go. In A, glide, D and G. D and G, glide, in A, glide. Good. Let your thumb feel the glide. We want that thumb to be involved. There we go. Now reverse it. Big pizzicatos. I can barely hear you. Over the high mark. And again. Bigger pizzicatos. Okay, so we need to refine this a little bit. We're getting kind of lazy with it. We need way bigger pizzicatos. And we need to make sure we're getting over the high mark. Otherwise, we're not really doing the exercise. Also, your A is crazy at tuning it, so we need to tune it. Let's see, Phil. Thank you. One of the reasons I'm hesitant to remove the shoulder rest just yet on the violin, one of the reasons I'm hesitant to remove the shoulder rest already is because until the thumb is starting to feel some of the weight and responsibility for the instrument, it's going to wreak a lot of havoc with the left hand. The left hand's going to feel really tight and it's not going to have any. So you got to keep your thumb up when you're doing the shifting exercises. All right. Silent bow rolls. Middle of the bow. Turn towards me, please. Hand over the high mark. Middle of the bow. And let's get our fingers close. Middle of the bow is right about here. We're going to get our fingers close together. First fingers around the bow. There we are. I start to look like a violinist. Go a little faster. Now to the tip. Nice big swing. There we go. Good. Frog. The frog is here, sweetie. First fingers around the bow. There we go. So your wrist is nice and high, just like that. Go ahead. Good. Your thumb is straightening out on your bow hold. You need to fix that thumb. So let's flip it upside down. Rest towards your fiddle. Sweetie. There we go. Getting better. Let's do some silent bow placements this week. So, same idea, have we done this? Same idea, but you, at random, when your parent says tip, middle, or frog, say tip, middle, or frog. No, one of them at a time.
Tip. Middle. Frog. Tip. Frog. Middle.
You give it a try. So we're going to start in the middle, hand over the high mark. There we are. Let the hand be nice and loose. Good straight bow's right about here, sweetie. If you want, we're going to have to get rid of that shoulder rest pretty soon. Tip. Good. So we make a little nice, easy circle to get us to the part of the bow that we want to get to. Just like this, very easily. Good. Let's try again. Frog. Tip. Middle. Tip. Frog. Middle. Good. So when we're doing IU, are you helping with IU or is your wife?
My wife usually.
Okay. So this is for her then. The same thing's happening here when we get to the frog, the shrugging of the shoulder. We've got to remain really vigilant about that. Let's go check out your IU really quick. See how that's coming along. When we go to the frog and we do this and we collapse this, all of our motions are ruined. All right, heels against the door. Go ahead and get started. Go ahead. There. Do you feel that? That's way better. Back down. Gotta let all that stay nice and loose the whole time. I know it feels like you can't, but you can. Back up. Good. Straight ahead. Nice and tall. There we go. Nice straight arms up here next to our ears. Good. And then back down again. Already getting better. Very nice. Keep doing that every day. So instead of silent bow rolls, we're doing silent bow placements. Tip, middle, and frog. Alright, let's check out your leg row. So,
I had a question.
sure, let's go over it.
So for the ornaments, I was having a little trouble doing the trill.
Okay, so our concept of what a trill is, that makes a big difference, right? Now here, they're telling you to do a single trill, but as we said, this Sinai or whoever this is, Sinaye, Sinaye, when they wrote that, that could be as many as you want, really. Totally up to you in terms of style. And because he was writing music so long ago, are those trills supposed to start from the upper note or the primary note?
Primary.
No. Did anybody ever tell you about the differences between the different kinds of trills?
Yeah.
Okay, so how would you do a trill in Mozart? Upper note or primary?
Primary. Upper note.
What about Bach?
I think it's primary.
Upper. What about Vivaldi?
Upper.
Good, good. What about Beethoven?
Upper.
Well, it depends on when he wrote his music. What about Schubert?
Primary.
Could be primary, could be upper. He's tricky because he was a neoclassicist. What about Tchaikovsky?
Primary.
Right. So, in general, which periods do we start from the primary?
I think for the recent period.
Right. So, kind of romantic up till now. Usually, people assume that if you do a trill, it's going to start from the primary note, right? So, in this case, where you have your first single trill, that's above what note?
That's
F, right. So you'd be trilling from F to G, but you'd start on the F. It works if it were Tchaikovsky or Prokofiev. Now, classical and earlier, so classical, Baroque, anything before, we assume that it's from the
it's from the upper note.
right. In which case, you would start from which note?
From G.
G, right. So, for right now, let's just stick with the single trill from the primary note. Okay. So go ahead and play that, just the passage without the ornament. So just that from the piano. So you have to be able to play the notes first before you can add any ornaments, right? Go ahead. Go a little bit lower in the bow, less bow. Lower in the bow. Lower in the bow. Go ahead. Good. Now go ahead and put your third finger down on the F and just practice one trill. Good. G needs to be a full whole step away. Now, your thumb is keeping you from getting up there, though. There we go. And really let him hammer down. It's a little high. But solid sound, sweetie. Let's do 5 in a row. And ready, go. Don't stop the bow. Don't stop the bow, please. Don't stop the bow, please. Think about doing détaché. I'm not sure how many times I can say it. Ready, go. Strong sound. Now, so we're going to treat it as though it's a triplet now. Triplet. You can always make them faster. It's hard to do them quicker usually at first, unless our fingers are moving properly. Ready? Ready, go. Just play triplet, triplet. Your G's a little low. Now, triplet T. Hold on, sweetie. Triplet T. Ready, go. But those would be separate bows, right? Ready, go. Down, up. Ready, go. Again, ready, go. E's getting a little flat. Ready, go. But not your F. Your F is fine. Ready, go. Now, we're probably getting tighter and tighter. Notice, you're really eager to put your violin down really quickly. Do your arms get tired when you play sometimes? Well, then why are you so eager to put your violin down? We're still doing it, right? So, but rest in the string. If your elbows are like this, you can stay there all day. Ready, go. We need a clear sound though, even though it's within piano. Piano's a small forte when you're a soloist, right? Ready, go. You don't need this much bow, but in the string, close to the bridge, rest in the string. Ready, go. That'll be a poof. Parts away. Ready, go. So, poof. Ready, go. Good. Now a little faster. Ready, go. Again, go. Again, go. Again. So you put your bow on the string. Ready, go. If you don't start with weight in the string, if we don't hear a clear F to begin with, then there's no point, right? Because what's the primary note?
F.
Right, so we need F. Hear that F. Ready, go. Again, go. Good, now. Ready, go. Ready, go. Ready, go. Now. Ready, go. Our A's low again already, darn it. That's what happens when our strings slip. They try to go back to where they were. then it's just going to keep doing that, and then it's going to break. Triple lift. Ready, go. Not so high in the bow, sweetie. Rest. Ready, go. Good, so make sure that we hear the F. Ready, rest in the string. Ready, go. Good. A little faster. Ready, go. Up, sweetie, up, ready, go. Good, a little faster. Ready, go. Again, ready, go. Good. Now, does your bow do anything really that different when you're doing that little single trill? Not really. But because we're focused so hard on our left hand, our bow starts to do weird stuff. Keep your bow solid. Ready, go. Ready, rest in the string. Ready, go. Good, now from the beginning. Okay, and ready, go. Well, this is mezzo forte and that's piano. We're going to need a bigger mezzo forte. Ready, go. Now, if you want, we can make it a little faster later, but what matters now is making sure that it's nice and clean. Okay?
Yeah.
So what are the steps we took?
So first, we just played
Just write it on the back of the sheet. Well, we did about 5 different speeds of what? By itself.
just the trill.
Right, but treat it as just a little triplet. Right? Think of it as a triplet. Triplet bump, just for now. As our hand relaxes and is able to move a little bit more cleanly, then we'll be able to get it. What do you want, Bear? No, you don't. No. You don't get to come in here. So that's first step. Now 5 times slow to fast, just as triplet. Then we added the E right after it. So add the note right after. So we just add 1/8 note. Do the same thing 5 times slow to fast. Add the next E, or the next 8th note, whatever you want to write. And then, of course, we play the passage, slow to fast. How's your trill with Nachschlag? Is that going okay?
Which one?
Well, I know there's a couple, but how about the first trill with Nachschlag?
This one?
Yeah.
That's actually, I'm also need help on that one.
Oh, okay, well, let's talk about it. So this one definitely is not going to start from the primary note, right? Because it's not just a single trill. That's going to start from which note?
It's going to start from D.
Right. So with your other teachers, how did they have you practice trills so that we kind of worked our way up to all of the notes?
Well, we never actually played trill.
Oh man, okay, well this is a perfect opportunity. We're going to do it right now. First, play without the trill. So we need... So first just play nice and slow. No trill, no Nachschlag. Ready, go. So our notes on the... Yeah, I know that. I'm actually worried that your A string is unraveling because it's getting flat all the time. Play your A again. Alright, I just hope it doesn't break in your face at this point. That would be dangerous.
Should we switch it back to the? Oh, I'm wondering if.
If it keeps doing this for another day, yes.
Oh, really? Oh.
Also, try not to. You're in the context of forte. You need to make sure that it's not. It's kind of book one sounding. You know what I mean? So even though you have martelets, we still need a little length to the notes. Again, beginning of the bar, and 1, 1, 2, ready, go. Good. C sharp still needs to be higher. Make sure your thumb isn't squeezing, sweetie. Don't worry about vibrato right now, okay? We'll get there. I don't want you to worry about vibrato pretty much at all for the next few months. Ready, go. Ready, go. Ah, you sound like a violinist. A little faster. 1, 2, ready, go. this just to have one trill. So we're going to have a couple of ways of doing this. First, we're going to go from just here to here, and then we're going to add a couple more notes. Now, each of these steps is going to be done with a smaller bracket and then with a larger bracket. What do you think our first step is going to be?
Just play the trill, like one.
How about just one trill, just one D. Go ahead. That'll be an up bow. Ready, go. Good. Let's make sure we're not hiding our hand underneath where it can't do us any good. Ready, fingers close together. Rest in the string. Rest. Ready, go. Do you hear how beautiful your sound is when your elbow's below your wrist? There's an audible difference. From here, your sound sounds more beautiful, more smooth, more mature. There's a lot of ways to say that it sounds better, but it just sounds better. Okay, so rest in the string. Ready, go. Be an up bow. Ready, go. Put the bow in the string. Don't bounce it in the string when we start. Put it in the string and then go. Ready, go. Ah, there we go now. So of course now we have to prepare our D and our C sharp when we get there. 1, 2, ready, go. It's getting a little flat. Ready, go. But notice when you're worried about your notes, what happens? Right, we go, I better get it. I don't want him to yell at me. I know I can do this. So we try harder, but guess what works better? Not caring. You have to, I mean, I want you to care about the things that I say, but I don't want it to affect you here. It's very calm, very easy. So if you notice something that's not going right, what I would do is actually, try to make it easier. Rest in the string, relax. 1. So rest in the string. 1, 2, ready, go. Again, it starts on the down bow. Ready, go. With more sound. Ready, go. Now what do you think our next step is?
Go faster, or just
Let's get 2 trills in. Because we're really not going to probably have more time then for about 2 trills if we're lucky. So, da-da-da-da-dum, ready, go. Again, put the bow on the string. Ready, go. Good, again, ready, go. Now. And ready, a little bit lower in the bow because it's a down bow. Ready, go. Go out again. And ready, go. Good, now, Nachschlag. So just the trill with Nachschlag. Ready, it'll be an up bow. Ready, go. And we can always do this slower too at first. Ready, so. And ready, go. With me, please. Ready, go. And it'll be a down bow for the subsequent D, right? So up bow. In the string. Ready, go. Sweetie, you're jumping the gun. Ready, go. Remember, up, down, ready, go. Again, go. So just play, just to the C sharp, just the up bow. Ready, rest in the string. Ready, go. Good, again. Ready, go. Good, again. Ready, go. Now just add a down bow D. Ready, go. Ready, go. Good. Again, a little lower on the bow. Rest in the string. Ready, go. With me, please. Ready, go. Little faster. Ready, go. If you put the bow on the string, you'll be ready to go. Rest. Ready, go. can always make it shorter if you want to. Ready, go. A little faster. Ready, in the string. Ready, go. Good. Let's not worry about the spaces for right now. Nice and solid. Ready, go. A little faster. And ready, go. And then you just go a little faster. After a couple days, be a total breeze, okay? Now we don't have time to write down those steps because you need to put your stuff away, but is that helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's no big deal. Every time you have a problem, you can always break it down into its smaller parts. Make sure those parts are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And just add more. That's it. Very easy. This sort of practice is very scientific. Go ahead and put your violin away. Good. So, yeah, go ahead and make your first order of business here, practicing ornaments. That should be a good 5 minutes of your practice every day at this point. Okay? And we'll do a run through next time I see you of the whole thing. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hope the A stays.
Yeah, I hope so too. It's already flat again a little bit. So, yeah, it's a bummer. You know, when you got an instrument that's just not that well put together, it's weird how it's like a domino effect. You know, it just affects everything, and let alone Namrata's ability to just be able to play well on it. You know what I mean? Like it's an okay instrument in terms of sound, but you can just tell like that there wasn't very much care in putting it together in the parts, and it's also kind of old, and so like if that was an actual ebony fingerboard, it probably would be fine. But because it's probably like a rosewood or something a lot more inexpensive that's been painted to be black, it wears through really fast. Do you want a stamp or sticker?
Sticker.
All right, here we go. Now, unfortunately, I got to kick you out super fast because I have another student coming in for makeup today, but I just sneak them in. I mean, I gotta